Okay, so we are back to review and recap Bridgerton Season 3, Episode 4, one of my favorites. This is a jam-packed episode, a lot to talk about. Sorry that it's taken me quite some time. As you can tell, I am channeling the carriage look. Could never do it justice, but I have some similar, fabric type things, the blue, similar hair, similar makeup. This is unintentional, actually, but it's funny because it does look like the fingerless gloves that they wore this season. But this is actually just a burn, and that is part of the reason why this has taken me so long to do this. One, just mental health issues, some breakdowns, some things that were I was really struggling for a little bit. And then I got burnt really, really badly, sunburnt, and got bubbles and welts and skin peeling, and it's a few days out now and I am still really struggling and suffering. But here I am, powering through to make content, but that's what this is. And if you see any red or disgusting skin, that's what that is. Be safe out there, folks. Be safe out there, folks. What can I say? So yeah, just really quickly before we get into it, I just want to say, post the part 2 premiere, I started having some kind of issues because I got into a pattern where all that I was doing was basically sleeping or working on things for the channel. And so it became my entire life. Like I wasn't, eating or working out or seeing friends or going outside. Really my ADHD and my hyperfixation and focus ability is a superpower in a lot of ways, but it can be extremely detrimental to health and well-being. You can kind of forget to take care of yourself. So I started feeling simply not like a human being. Plus I have a bunch of autoimmune, chronic health, and sleep issues right now that I'm dealing with. And I was nocturnal. So then I started just really feeling like not a human being, and I was really having an existential crisis, questioning the meaning of life. And so then I was like, I need to find a better balance. I need to do other things other than just this. So I went outside, I swam. I was like, oh my god, water on skin. I exist as a human being in the world. That's so crazy. So I'm gonna try and be a little better about balancing, doing other things in addition to this instead of just doing this, because that way I won't burn out as quick. And I won't be as depressed, and I won't be having mental breakdowns left and right. So if I am a little bit less frequent in posting, that is probably why. That is probably the reason why. I am probably trying to have a better work-life balance. But regardless, I am happy for all the success that's going on. Thank you to all the new subscribers and people showing interest in the channel. I am very excited about all of it, but it's just I need to find a better balance. Otherwise, I just start to feel not like a human being, which is just not good for anybody. It's really not good for anybody, the channel included. So that's a little update. That's what I've been doing. Part of my attempt to do a better balance was to go to the beach, and then I got extremely hurt. And I do, as I said, I have a lot of autoimmune issues, and so when I get hurt or sick, things kind of hit me harder than the average person. So I have been out of commission. If you see me wincing or anything during this, that is, I am in a lot of pain. But, I took some time, and here we are. We're going to talk about episode 4. Oh my god, so much to this. Guys! Okay, so the intro starts with some more Featherington air race shenanigans. We love to see it. It doesn't take up too much time. It's hilarious. It's entertaining.
I have bought you a plant so that you might continue to enjoy nature from your windowsill.
Okay, Debling, not him merging their worlds. He said, okay, you can enjoy nature from your windowsill. Okay, king. He's a king. What can I say? Debling is a king. No, he's not right for Pen in the end, but actually, in a lot of ways, he would have made a really good match for her, which, again, I think is the smart and mature decision to make on behalf of the writing team, so I'm glad that they made that. I'm glad that they didn't make him terrible. They made him a good choice, a good person, interesting, has his own quirks.
She must have blackmailed him. Or trapped him in a closet.
Okay, not them saying she blackmailed or trapped him in a closet. Grr, boo, tomato.
Oh my god, corny, lame, boo, tomato, I'm throwing tomatoes.
Guys, ooh, this just, with the knowledge that I have now of part 2, it's ooh, we'll get into that line. Don't you worry, we'll get into that line. We'll get all into it. I'm working on my pollen analysis. It's the amount of content still coming your way. Might not be all here at once, but it'll be worth the wait, let me tell you. Pen's smug little good day.
Good day.
So we love to see it. We love to see it. We love to see this behavior from her. Portia's saying she's so often stuck at the window. One, I had to laugh because him saying is the settee particularly comfortable. Well, I know another settee that was, it was sufficient. Might not have been comfortable, but it was sufficient. It got the job done. You know what I mean? It got the job done. Was it sturdy? Not as sturdy as Colin, because it did break. But you know what? They're freaks like that. So she's moving from settee to settee. And they're all revolved around Colin. She's so me. Anyway, when this line was first delivered, her saying like, you know, she's so often at that window and now you brought her into the room and we have you to thank for that, I was like, are they setting up a little something here? And indeed they were. They were setting up a little metaphorical synopsis of the whole dynamic at play here, which I really liked. And by the end, we will talk about that, of course. But, you know, she is so often sat at that window, and now she's being brought into the light, out of the shadows, if you will. When she said that she's grown rather tired of it, I was like, okay, metaphor for Colin. Metaphor for her and her relationship with Colin. She's moving on. She's determined. I hadn't yet put together all the elements of them living right across the square or anything like that, but once she said that, I was like, okay, so she's determined to move on with Debling. She's being brought into the light, into the room, and she's grown rather tired of her view, and now, you know, she's broadening her horizons with Debling. I see what's being set up. Okay, thank you very much. Then we have a little cut to Colin's office. You know what? He's moody and broody. Like, he's going through his journal. He's, like, touching his injured hand. His mom comes in. He's, like, closing his journal. He's insecure. He's very internal, and this is a great example of that. I love his delivery of I am found.
Oh, I thought I might find you in here.
I am found.
This whole thing, I love this scene for Colin. This is a great scene for Colin. And it's such a small one that I'm sure many people completely overlook. But to me, I'm like, oh, so quintessentially Colin. And Luke Newton, you did that. You did that. You're that man. Because it's so him. And the way that he delivers talks about, he like makes fun of himself talking about like, oh, well, if I were to, you know, be there with the Marquis, I would surely eat all the biscuits.
Well, if I am there, I will surely eat all of the biscuits and leave none for the Marquis.
Which I just loved, because it's a reference to him being a foodie. It's him being self-deprecating, and also him looking down on kind of so much of what makes him him, and so much of the character that we've gotten to know. You know, cheeky, charming Colin. Like, that is so much of who he is. He's a jokester. He's outgoing. He can, you know, scarf down some biscuits. He loves to do that. That's actually integral to his character. But again, it also made me think about the fact that, like, Luke Newton said that he's in a different place now, where, like, he's so tortured at the moment. He, like, can't eat, and he said that in his dream to Pen. Like, he can't eat, he can't breathe, he can't sleep, he can't speak, that type of thing. So he's really going through it. So for him to be, like, talking about biscuits in such a self-deprecating, negative way, I was like, oh, Colin's got it down bad. He's, like, making fun of himself for liking biscuits? Woo! This is not the Colin I know and love. We are seeing a different side to Colin. But again, the facial acting from Luke Newton is really great there. It shows a lot of his internal struggle, but also the facade he's trying to keep on. It's like the last remnants of this new personality that he's been acting as, and then him still trying to look down upon the person that he has been in the way that society often does, and the qualities about him that make him unique to society, that make him stand out. And it was just so good. It was just so good. Such a good conversation with Violet. Again, shows their closeness. She tries to pry and asks about if he has anything he wants to talk about.
Dear, at last night's ball, when you were asking about friendship and whether it can blossom into love, is there something you wished to discuss with me?
I like that he takes a moment to kind of consider it. There's a lot of good acting that Luke Newton does where you can see his thought process. Like, you can see him consider it for a second. He's like, should I let her in on this? Should I ask her opinion on this? Could this be helpful? And then his pride or his ego kind of gets in the way, and he's like, no, I can't do that. I shouldn't do that. You can kind of see, again, the two sides of Colin at war with each other at that moment in time, because he, I think, wants to talk to his mom about that. He wants to get this off his chest. He wants to discuss it. But he knows that that's not really done, you know, and he's, like, supposed to brave it himself. And so he's like, well, it's fine. No, I was just speaking hypothetically, totally. And he doesn't really even let her, you know, she tries again, and he's like, I'll be down in a second. And, you know, she knows not to pry any further. That's a really good, there were a lot of conversations going on within that one conversation. The acting from both Ruth Gemmell and Luke Newton was good there, because it conveyed a lot of other conversations going on beneath the surface of the conversation that they were actually having. But I also did like that Colin was, like, telling her, he took a moment to compliment her and be like, you're sweet for offering, or you're sweet for asking.
That is kind of you, Mother.
I was like, Colin. Sweet boy. And then at the end of that scene, he also goes back and looks back down at his journal once Violet has left. Again, They really could have done more with the journal. God, it was right there. It was right there, you guys. The way that could have eaten so bad if they did, like, narration, or if they had, like, what a great device to show internal monologue from characters and the progression of their emotional arc throughout the season, especially in a romance, because that's so much of the genre of romance novel. You get to hear the characters' inner thoughts and feelings the entire time, and it's so hard to do in a show. But having both of them be writers is such a great way to let you into that, and I really wish they would have taken more advantage of that and utilized it more as, like, a device, a storytelling device. I think it could have eaten so bad, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. If it was me, I would have made use of that, let me tell you. We check in on Benedict really quickly. He's calling on Lady Tilly. Again, I never really thought anything was that ominous with her, and I think I was probably right. You know, a lot of people were like, oh, she's talking to the solicitor, and maybe she's Sophie's stepmom. I never really thought that. But, you know, she says, I don't wish to be called on. I was like, okay, queen. Okay, queen. I still live for this. I don't know what to say. I kind of lived. I don't know. They're both hot and sexy people. Like, that's their purpose. You know what I mean? They're just supposed to be hot and sexy together. We get a little bit of, like, submissive Benedict being dominated a little bit. I love to see it. Again, a new thing for Benedict. Like, we really haven't seen him in this type of relationship whatsoever. We haven't really seen him in any type of romantic relationship quite like this one, let alone one where he's more so the younger, the innocent, or the more submissive one in the relationships. We check in on Lady Damery and her brother. She's fed the fuck up. You know, there's beef here. We don't know what it is yet. But she is obviously not having it. He's talking about coming back into society, being lonely, wanting to pursue things with ladies. We already know where this is going. We get a shot to the Queen and Brimsley having a little back and forth. He's, like, looking over her shoulder, reading the whistle down, and she's like, you read me too well. That was giving very Queen Charlotte prequel. That was giving very young Queen Charlotte and Brimsley to me, which made my heart feel pretty whole for a second. I was like, oh. Bring back Queen Charlotte! Queen Charlotte was so fucking good, guys. Is it the best? I don't know. I need more time to digest this season to have all my rankings, but it's up there, let me tell you. Then we go back to the Bridgerton drawing room. Violet is extremely excited about Lord Samadani. Okay. Again, I'm like, what is going on? Like, them being like, oh, the first spark of affection. I'm like, where? Is the affection in the room with us? Francesca couldn't care less about Lord Samadani. Give me a break. Oh, I love the music at John's entrance here. It's so magical and, like, fairy tale-like. That entrance is so good. The camera work is so good there. The way that he delivers Miss Francesca. I watched this again the other night because one of my best friends who I read the entire Viscount Would Love Me To, we watched season 2 together for the first time. Like, I didn't even watch it. We premiered it together. She lives out of town, but she just came back into town. She had waited to watch season 3 with me. We're going to finish it tonight, but I just watched this episode with her the other day. Oh, it gives me such butterflies. It's so magical. It's such a, like, fairy tale. It's so, oh my God, it really is. The music and the camera work and the acting, all three working in concert there to really make this like a magical moment, zooming in on both of them. You can see the affection that they already hold for each other, the interest in each other, new beginnings. Talk about the first spark of affection and new love. That's what it looks like, guys. So sorry to break it to you, Violet and Lady Damery. That's what it looks like. Did you not hear the music? Did you not hear the music? Okay, come on.
Lord Samadani, welcome.
Not Hyacinth taking the reins because nobody's talking. She's a go-getter. You know what I mean? You can say a lot about Hyacinth. You can't say that she's not a go-getter. Eloise stepping behind Gregory when he says, I'm here to call him one of your daughters was so funny. And apparently that was just something that Claudia did. It wasn't in the script, which, again, her mind. Her mind. Claudia Jessie, the comedian, the woman, the actor that you are. Thank you for your service. I can't say it enough. She elevates literally every scene that she's in. I love her so much. She's so good. This show is so lucky to have her. I mean, honestly, so many of the actors it's so lucky to have, but like, Claudia Jessie, wow. I really don't think she gets enough credit either, and I'll probably say that multiple times throughout this season. I think I've already said it in these recaps, but I'll say it again. Yeah, and again, the way he says Prince Francesca, it's just swoon. It's just swoon. I just swoon. Oh my God, the epitome of swoon.
Miss Francesca.
Oh, also, oh my God, also, when he first said his name, the first formal explicit acknowledgement of his character and his title literally gave me full body chills. Like, I might have even started to tear up. I can't remember.
John Sterling, Earl of Kilmartin.
Oh, wow, why did that make me want to cry? John Sterling girl and Martin. No, I could cry. I really could cry. I won't, but I could. It was just so, I don't know, it was just so gratifying. It was so surreal almost. It was like, oh my god. And I knew he was John. You know what I mean? Like, I knew he was. But still, I was like, oh, they said it. I love Martin. The cuts back and forth to them, you know, looking at each other in silence and smiling. Poetry. It's love, it's chef's kiss, it's filmmaking, it's cinematography, it's everything I could have wanted and more. This is true love, as far as I'm concerned, okay? It's just everything. And then the shift in focus back to the family being like, what is going on? That's comedic genius. You know what I mean? Like, this is television gold. What more could you want from the seat? This is perfect. This is absolute perfection. The whole thing, it was just comedic genius. Eloise being like, oh my god, I thought you had to use wit to dissuade a suitor, but, you know, simple silence is much more effective, and Hyacinth being like, maybe they were enjoying each other, and then Violet being like, well, how would they know each other? It's just so good. It's just so quintessential to, again, the dynamics of the family, what makes Bridgerton so appealing, them as a family, their family bonds, each of their individual personalities and quirks. So good. She lights up. She behaves so differently around him. You can see, like, there's a boldness, there's a bravery, there's something that, again, just lights up within her. Like, even her being like, I would like that very much when he says he'd like to, you know, talk to her, sit with her. That's her being very, like, bold. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different, which is partially why I'm a little bit frustrated by the way that Violet responds to their courtship. Because I'm like, can you not see that this is her being lit up? You know what I mean? Like, this is her being fired up. It might not be as crazy as the rest of you, but she's not as crazy as the rest of you. So, like, what do you expect? I think it's just so obvious, and this is a great credit to Hannah Dodd's acting. The difference is so evident and apparent when John comes into the picture. She lights up around him. There's something different about their connection and something different that he brings out within her. We cut to Alice and Will. Now the element of needing to give up the club is being introduced. Again, this storyline, I don't mind because I like them. I think they're both, like, very likable, interesting, beautiful characters and people. It doesn't, like, add much. It doesn't really connect to anything else, but also it doesn't take up a lot of time, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not too mad at it existing because it's barely even there in the first place. It's not like, again, the subplot in season 2 with the rubies where that took up so much time. This is, like, very brief glimpses into that. But, again, the idea of, like, giving up everything that they built versus now everything that they've been given. They're trying to go for that kind of dilemma there. We go to the library. Again, we love the location. So elite. Okay, that is just something to me, again, this season that is very evident. When they are on location, it is so different. It has such a different vibe, guys. Like, it just hits different. They need to be doing more locations. They're doing way too many sets now. And every time I can tell it's a set, it's a little drab and it's a little depressing, and I'm just like, okay. And it's not that the dressing isn't good, right? Like, it's not that all the departments are doing a good job making these sets look beautiful. They do, but there's just something, there's a je ne sais quoi, there's a certain something, there's an electricity. You can feel something in the air when they're, like, on set of an actual location. And the cinematography and the shots that they're able to get of an actual location are always so much grander, and, again, just so much of the appeal of, I feel like, season 1 Bridgerton. Not that they didn't have sets in season 1 too, but I feel like, to me at least, I can tell very clearly when they're on location versus when they're on a set. And it just feels so much better when they're on location. I wish they would be on location more, if they could. I don't know the logistics of, like, what's behind filming that and, like, booking them and if it's easier to just build a set or whatnot, but I think it's a marked difference when they are actually on location somewhere. And this is one of those times. You can just feel it in the air. It's magical. I love this look for Pen. It feels like it should be stupid, but she just looks too pretty. You know what I mean? She does look like a pretty little princess. The sleeves are ridiculous. But she just is slaying too hard. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. How can I care about the big puffy sleeves when she looks this good? We're weighing our options here. Like, what's the priority? Serving and slaying. Come on now. Pen saying you must finally allow me to read is hilarious. A lot of callbacks to that dynamic between Portia and Penelope that has been there since season 1. You know, she's bookish. Portia's always telling her to get out her nose out of books and stop reading by the window because she'll get freckles and all this shit. So that was a nice little callback. Again, I thought this whole conversation about her being like, you need to let men teach you about the world or else they'll feel superfluous. I thought that was hilarious. Hee hee ha ha. Is Portia wrong? Sorry. Is she wrong? No. She might be wrong about Debling in particular, or about this particular union, because they are a little abnormal. They're a little odd couple in that way, where it's like, he would like to talk to Pen about it and not have to just explain it to her, but generally speaking, is Portia incorrect? No. Also, again, the crescendo, like, cut off, the audio cut off of, like, when she closes the book, the crescendo of the music, and then it slams shut. It's just so good. Little moments like this, where, like, craftsmanship, you can tell with, like, you know, audio or staging or cinematography, really emphasize moments like this. And, again, put, like, a button on it. It's like, these are moments that make this show shine. The difference in personality and generation is also very evident here. You know, like, Portia's just saying what she knows. And she's giving her knowledge the best of her ability. So, like, again, is she wrong? No. Is she aware that there's ability for a different type of life? No. Will Penelope teach her that? Yes. Do we see this later in the season? Yes. And I love to see that fulfilled. It also feels the looks between Debling and Pen, it feels very relatable. It's like, you know, that one cringy in-law that, like, you all kind of just have to tolerate, and, like, one person's very embarrassed by the in-law, and the other one is like, ugh, but, like, you know, likes the person so much that they're willing to... There's a lot of that with Portia, even with Colin. Once Colin and Penelope are betrothed, it's kind of like, okay, I can't stand your mom, but I love you, so... It just feels very true to life. It's very hilarious. It tickles me. There's a nice shot with the Bridgerton family entering, a pan throughout, going through all their emotions. We have Lord Samadani talking about collecting 1,000 books, Eloise being weirded out at that, as she should be. Francesca is very obviously looking for John. We love to see it. Colin spots Debling. He's screaming, crying, throwing up. Period. Love to see it. Oh, also, it's so funny because Colin jealous. I saw someone say this online, but it was like the difference between Colin and Anthony is that Anthony, when he's jealous, he wants to kill other people. Colin wants to kill himself. I thought that was so, because it's so true. It's so their characters, which again is why it's so weird to compare them, because they are such different characters, and the performances have to be different to reflect that. But like, Colin is so internalized. Like, he is so, you know what I mean? Like, he is so self-destructive, whereas Anthony is so outwardly destructive. It sums them up so correctly. I'm like, yep, exactly. That is exactly, and this is a great look to exemplify that for sure. There's an interesting interaction between Eloise and Cressida. Potential signs of their, like, friendship faltering a little bit. She's not really paying attention to her. She's kind of in her own world. She's making, like, ill-timed jokes about Russian literature, because Cressida's talking about needing to marry an aged man. I'm like, ooh, yikes. And then we get, you know, shots back and forth. They're sick for doing it through the mirror. But period foreshadowing. They're using the mirror in between Penelope and Colin to show them looking at each other longingly, back and forth, then pretending to, like, have a good time with the people that they're with. We love to see it. She's a lover girl through and through. You know, this is becoming abundantly clear, especially in this conversation, and to her and to the audience, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, Pen is, like, such a lover girl. This is an issue. This is really where that's starting to become apparent. She's like, but, like, love, though. But, like, I want to be in love, but I want to be loved, but I love stories of love. I love that he asks her about it, and that he asks her specifically what about those stories really, you know, captures her attention, and I love that she explains that. Again, I still love the way that this was all executed. Him actually wanting to know her, him actually relating to her, them having a lot of compatibility in the first place, and working really well together on a lot of levels. And him being like, I like that you have your own, you know, you delight in your endeavors, and you have your own things that you're passionate about, and it's like me, and, you know, your own peculiarities, all that type of stuff works very well. She's such a cutie patootie here. She's such a cutie patootie. She's also so mean. Not the cutie patootie part, well, that's up for you to decide, but, like, the part about just, like, being like, I'm a lover girl, ooh, I love stories of romance and love. I'm like, okay, very relatable.
I'm happy to learn that you have a passion. One that brings you such joy as my research brings me. We are alike in that way. Are there any novels in which the man goes travelling for a very long time and his wife is happy to stay behind tending the estate?
Not him using a little metaphor to suss out whether she'd accept his proposal or not. That was kind of a serve. That was kind of a gag. I was like, Debling, I wasn't familiar with your game, but yes. Yes, use these metaphors. Yes, talk about me being an author. If I was the author of the book, like, what would I do? Like, period. It's such a great way, again, to, like, speak her language. It's a great way to really communicate that with her. And to not be too overt, not too inappropriate, but also still pretty direct about, like, what he's asking and what he's wanting and what he's getting at. I'm dead at her saying, he's like, would she say yes? And she's like, she says,
I think you would have to read the book.
He'd have to read the book. I have to laugh. He'd have to, I don't know, purchase it first before he would have to find out. And I'll get back to you on that. I was like, Pen, lol, I can't. Then we go to the second ill-fated brothel scene. Brother, ew, what can I say? Ew, ew, ew.
I truly cannot believe this is real.
You quite well? You appear...
I'm afraid my enthusiasm is elsewhere this evening.
So you would prefer to watch? You have already paid.
Fine.
They're so crazy for this. But also fine is crazy. What is happening? Okay, sure.
It is interesting. There's a noted difference here in his behavior. He's really letting a lot of things happen to him. Like, they're both, he's participating a little bit, but not really, especially by the end of the scene. He's like pretty much just like letting it happen to him. They're the ones who are undressing him. They're the ones who are initiating kisses and touches and whatnot. And he's kind of just like, So again, great body language to show the shift in his emotional arc, in that like now he can't even focus on it, he can't even pretend, he just can't stop thinking about Pen, he can't even turn up, he can't, you know what I mean, like he literally cannot do this, he cannot perform this act anymore, he is too down bad. He's had a taste of Pen and he's like, well, I'm ruined I'm done for the rest of my life, and that's how it should be. And I love to see it. He's so detached. And also, again, it's interesting that it's a threesome, the whole thing is very detached, even more so than the first one, but him saying fine, oh, that had me dead on my first watch. It has me dead every single time I see it. I don't even know how many times I've seen that now. I laugh every single time, out loud. I just burst out laughing. That is so funny. You are so horrifically down bad, sir. What do you mean fine? When in the history of anything has any straight man said fine that unenthusiastically to the prospect of like seeing two girls hook up? You know what I mean? Like, not to fetishize lesbian relationships, or not to say that every man likes to see that, but like, just generally speaking, especially if like, it works so well with Colin, because it isn't Colin. Colin isn't the type, it works so well, but I have to laugh. But I'm also like, Colin, my beloved, like, yes, this is you, this is real, this is me, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be now. That's very Colin letting his true color shine, because he, like, isn't in for it. He doesn't care. He couldn't care less. He's looking away. He's looking off into the distance. He's like, I'd rather be moody and broody right now and thinking about Pen. And that's just so him, even though it's so antithetical to anything and everything we've come to expect from a leading man or a hero in this universe, in this time, or just in general. But I love to see it. Again, I have to laugh. He says, fine. I have to laugh, Colin! Oh my god. And I love you for that. You're an icon and a legend for that. Then we go to a little promenade with Fran and Violet. She's so animated, which is so out of character. Again, Violet is like clocking onto this. She's very sus. And then her like running over to John the second she sees him. The whole, it's neurodivergent, it's shy, it's introverted, it's awkward excellence. You know what I mean? All their interactions. I'm just like, yes, you two freaks, you two weirdos. You're just like me for real. Socially challenged. We love to see it. They're so awkward. And it's so cute. They're adorable.
Are you interested in him? Good day, Lord Kilmartin.
Francesca. Lady Bridgerton.
And again, it feels like representation. Like, it's such a different type of love, such a different type of interaction. And you can see, like, the way she's, like, flirting, like, she's really putting herself out there.
And so, are you stopping to speak with us just to be polite?
And then John doesn't even clock onto that. He's, like, just stating facts. He's like, well, you stopped me. He doesn't even register or think about how that might be humiliating for him to say to Francesca.
I believe you stopped me.
It's the most animated she's been this whole time.
And then once he does register it, he tries to, like, remedy it and be like, nice music, right?
Enjoyable music. Yes?
If I am being honest, no. The pace is too fickle.
Period.
His intent was not to humiliate her, but he knows that he just did, just by being like, wait, you stopped me. Like, he's just stating facts. But it's so funny to see them navigate these, like, social interactions that have so many social customs and really, like, awkwardly stumble through it and, like, offend each other and then, like, be weird and then, like, try and get back to each other, and then they're so not cut out for it. And it just makes it so entertaining to watch. You see the light bulb go off, he strides away, he's a man on a mission. I knew what he was doing. I knew that he was going to get that music and he was going to write it just as she envisioned it, and you know what? I was correct.
The music.
That is helpful. If you'll excuse me.
What is about to happen? It's gonna be cute.
And what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Is that the most romantic thing that's ever been done on this fucking show? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, and it's awkward, and it's terrible, and it seems a little rude, and he just, like, pushes off. He's like, good to know, bye. But I love that. There's something about it that just makes it that much more sincere and, like, touching and real. Like, it just feels so genuine. I don't know. They give me butterflies. They are everything to me. I love them. And then she says she's not interested in him. Okay, whatever you say, Queen.
To answer your question, no. I'm not interested in
Yeah, totally. No, not interested at all.
Okay. Keep whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep at night. Okay, Queen, sure. No, I'm not interested in him, sure. Sure you're not. Sure you're not, Francesca, sure. Then we go to Cressida. She has a dark and scary ass drawing room. You know, are we surprised? It checks out. It makes a lot of sense. Still terrible. She doesn't have any visitors. Eloise is like the first person that's ever called on her. This checks out as well. The way that her parents react to Eloise calling on her is a little like, I'm like, did y'all want to go there with a gay storyline? Because, like, they really could have done that with Cressida. I really think that was a missed opportunity. If they wanted to add more queer storylines in there, like, Cressida was literally right there. That would have been a great one, because they could have had a whole, like, backstory of her being, like, you know, she had a friend that she was a little too close with, and the whispers started, and then so now this is happening again, and he's like, stay away from Bridgerton girl, but then, like, they never really picked that thread back up, even though it seemed like they were maybe laying the groundwork for that. But alas, whatever. Still good insight into Cressida and her family dynamic, and getting a little bit more fleshed out of her character and a little bit more understanding of, you know, why she is the way that she is and her home life. Then we go to Will's club, where Colin is with, you know, his friends, and Fife, by the way, which I thought was very interesting. Another callback to Fife being the one to initiate the whole conversation where he disses Penelope at the end of season 2 in the first place. But, you know, they're talking shit, they're being douches, they're objectifying women, you know, they're just being gross, and Colin is really struggling to feign interest here. Again, love this performance from Luke. This whole scene is really good. He's subtle at the beginning, but he could not care less to save his life. Gun pointed at his head. He could not feign more interest in this. Like, he is so over it. And again, I really love the progression of his acting, where he's, like, you know, really fighting that part of himself. And then by this point in the season, he's letting his true self kind of come through. Like, this is him, right? Like, this is the real... Colin doesn't have interest in this. Colin doesn't like talking about this stuff. Like, Colin is fed up with this. But, you know, he's just kind of there. He's just kind of like, okay, whatever. And you can see him. He's spacing out. He's rolling his eyes. He's just so over it. He's annoyed to even be asked about his, like, experiences with the Contessa. He, like, tries to play it off, but he's failing miserably. He's not getting an Oscar for this performance, let me tell you that. Colin is not being very convincing here. He is not really doing a good job pulling the wool over their eyes at this point. He snaps and insults them, which I was gagged at when I first saw it, and I am gagged every time.
I do not see a gentleman amongst us.
No, I concur with you there.
And then he just goes full honesty. And I love this scene, and I talked about it in my Colin character analysis if you didn't see that, but, like, I just love this scene. It's so Colin. It's so integral to who he is as, like, a person and as a character at his core. He's just being honest. He's just being sincere. He's dripping with sincerity. He's dripping with just a genuine, like, distress. He's almost reaching out. It's like a cry for help.
The necessity imposed on us to remain cavalier about the one thing in life that holds genuine meaning. Do you not find it lonely?
Oh, Colin.
He's like, are you guys not, like, exhausted by this? Like, am I the only person? He's confounded. He's like, are you not so lonely right now? I just love the way he delivers all those lines and the way that he looks at them. He's so stressed, like he's so disturbed at what's happening in front of him, and you know, then they all laugh at him, and you see his little nod that he does like as he processes that information. He's like, oh, okay, so I'm totally fucking alone, that's great. And then, you know, you cut to him being down bad, crying at the gym, you know, struggling, he's drunk as fuck, he's struggling to take off his cravat, he's like laid out like that. It's just so good. Okay, Luke Newton drunk acting, I see you and I appreciate you. Thank you. Very good. Debling's proposal. What is it about this look of Penelope's that is so mesmerizing? Because wowza, she looks so good in this, and I know a lot of people have noticed that, but like, I was like trying to figure it out. I was trying to wrap my head around. I was like, what is it? What is it about the hair or the makeup that makes this look so good? But she looks so good. She looks so good, and I just love that she looks that good, and I love the direct cut from him being so down bad and literally like sprawled out on his bed, like on the verge of death, and then she just looks like such a pretty princess, you know what I mean? Like directly cutting from that, and it's like daylight, and it's so good. It shows their difference in, you know, standing at the moment, and again, but like it's good because like Penelope on the surface is in a very good place, but you can see that it's starting to bubble and brew within her. Like she's like, oh shit, this isn't what I want, this isn't what I need. And you can see that reflected in the conversation that she has with Portia just then, where she's like, what more could you want? You know, don't get greedy, right? Like it's like everything on the surface is working out for Penelope. She looks great, it's a sunny disposition, she's getting everything she's ever wanted aboard. This could save her family. But she's still, you know, not happy deep down inside. She is also miserable with Colin, even though on many planes and in a lot of ways they're on vastly different footing. Emotionally, they're ending up on the same terrain, which is what makes way for them to have their confrontation in the carriage. It's so sad though to see Portia finally like so happy and supportive and affectionate, and then like Penelope be like, and you see that process because you can also see that Penelope's kind of like, she's shocked, but she's like really feeling fulfilled and happy about having this level of support from her mom. And she's hesitant to do anything to disrupt it, but she also is like, well, I don't know what to do at this point. And I love Portia's whole thing. Again, it's just so quintessentially Portia, like her being like, oh, you're not thinking about romance, are you? Like, it's just so funny. Polly Walker's so funny in this. Because, again, the way that she delivers it, she's so dead ass. You know what I mean? Like, what she's saying is, in a lot of ways, so ridiculous. But, in a lot of ways, is very practical and is very true to the time. Which is a feature of Portia's character in general that I really like. You know, there's a lot, she's always towing that line between being so ridiculous and also so right. She's always kind of somewhere in between there. And I just love that scene. That's a great scene between them. You can see, you know, the different motives at play for both of them, why Penelope wants what she wants, why Portia wants what she wants, why Portia's saying what she's saying. There is something so funny about her being like, what's romantic security?
Oh, just don't tell me you're holding out for love. Oh, this is the very reason why I discourage you from reading. Love is make-believe. It's only in your storybooks. Do you know what is romantic? Security. Be smart, Penelope. And if you will not be, then I will be for you.
How does that make any fucking sense?
And again, she's right in a lot of ways. But she's wrong in a lot of ways too, you know. Oh, love has only existed in storybooks. It's like, okay, well tell that to every Bridgerton ever existing. So, okay. Pen also starts hyperventilating after Portia says that she said yes, which I thought was a good detail. Her sitting down, she's very shell-shocked. I like that she's also thinking aloud, and she's like, I like that he would be away because I would have my privacy, and I do value my privacy. She's weighing the pros and cons and talking through it, which again is another clever way to give insight into Penelope's thought process with her voicing it aloud there. Then we go to the ball preparation. This is an elite look for Colin. The suspenders, period. He looks so good. He looks so good this scene. Oh my god. I talked about this in my Colin character analysis as well. This is a very telling scene. The way that Violet and Mrs. Wilson approach him, you know, they're very much like looking at him with a lot of maternal concern. They're like, what's going on? This is not you. This is not who you are, Colin.
Said you, I heard lumbering in the hallway late last night.
I am, well,
Damn.
He snaps a little bit, but he can't even finish the snapping. I love it. I love his performance in the scene. This is a great scene between him and Violet. It's a good way to let the audience in on a lot of things. This to me reads as like a scene that like for audience members that aren't as observant, maybe, it like kind of explains what's going on, you know what I mean? It's like, it's giving the exposition of like, okay, this is where everybody's at right now, and let me explain to you what's happening, and so that we can preempt this grand declaration and him going and crashing the ball. But it shows a lot about their relationship, shows a lot about both of their characters individually.
Okay, best Violet pep talk of
My head
all.
is bottle weary. Forgive me for lashing out. I should simply like to rest this evening.
Performances are really good. It just gives a lot of insight. Like, it's a very telling scene. It shows Colin's emotional state. It shows that Violet has seen through his entire act and is, you know, pulling the strings now to do the matchmaking and kind of push him over the edge and get him to take the next step and go after Penelope.
That's rather quick.
Likely because of your help.
Oh, Violet, you're such a
I
W
do
for this.
hope you feel better.
Violet MVP! That's what I've dreamed for!
The whole thing is just, it's bellissima. Then we go to the ball. Great exterior shots. Again, that's on location. I'm pretty positive. The interior shots are definitely a set and underwhelming in my opinion. I do not love the look of this ball, if I'm being honest. I don't know. There's something bland and dry about it. I'm sorry. It makes me a little depressed. But there is a very beautiful dance between, you know, the Eros and Psyche dance floor dancers that everyone thought would be Benedict and Sophie. I have to laugh. I'm so sorry if you thought that. I was like, guys, be so fucking for real right now. But yeah, that's a good way to show everybody's emotional states, watching it, and like their view of love and their perception, and, you know, a good way to show insight into Pen's inner workings and where she is. She's watching this, being very moved by the romance of it all and realizing, oh, I need romance, I want romance, I'm a romantic girly, like, this is not good. Which again inspires her to then ask that question to Debling when they dance just a little bit later. But yeah, okay artistry, okay ballet, okay freestyle dance. The Queen's wig is amazing, don't get me wrong. I do question the mechanics though. I'm like, guys, this is battery powered. You know what I mean? I'm like, guys, what exactly were the mechanics of this that were powering this back in 1815 or whatever? But you know what? Again, it's a sleigh, so who gives a fuck? Who can be bothered to give a fuck? Not me. Overall, it's a great look for her. Great dress, too. This is a great look. This makes sense why this was the promotional look that they chose for her, for sure. Love the shot of Fran looking between her love interests. So good. So good! Ugh. Again, doesn't take up too much time. Very simple, but very effective. The drama, the intrigue. This is how you use cinematography to your advantage. This is how you utilize it to do effective storytelling, people. Come on. Then we have a little scene with Violet and Marcus. They talk about their past loves. They're relating. We see what's happening here. They're setting it up. It shows that he doesn't really know about Lady Damery being a matchmaker. They haven't known each other for some time. Sets up the whole conflict there. Sets up that both of them have had, you know, Violet had a love match from the beginning. He didn't have a love match, but then kind of grew to love her, but he wants a second love, and, you know, setting up that entire thing. So this is a good, like, I mean, it's good, and there is good chemistry, but it is very much like an expositional conversation. It's like, okay, we're setting up the storyline, I see what's happening. Then there's a line with the Queen about setting up a friendlier alliance between the gossip column and the Crown, which I thought was funny. I was like, okay. That was very much, I was like, okay, clunky exposition, okay. But they're showing that that's an option, and they're setting, you know, they're foreshadowing that that might be a possibility later in the season, which we see that it is. Alice is, like, hanging out with Lady Damery, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever, sure. They're both slaying, so who cares? Lady Damery says past lives are a dangerous place to revisit, then glares at Violet and Marcus. The beef runs deep, guys. Like, I was like, what happened? What did this man do to you, girl? A little underwhelming when we found out, but we'll get to that. Loved Benedict until he, like, quipping on the down low about a state of undress.
Nothing worse than a state of undress.
And I live.
You guys, come on, Marion. Eloise and Cressida's conversation was good. Like, it showed a lot of insight into their friendship that, you know, Cressida was willing to defy her dad for, like, maybe the first time ever, and their friendship means a lot to each other, and Eloise was genuinely hurt, but also really mad on behalf of Cressida, and, like, your dad sucks, and you deserve better, and all that type of stuff. I really liked this conversation for Eloise in particular about her characterization, because she's like, how do you have the bravery to see things this way? And she's like, it's not bravery, I simply can't understand how everybody doesn't see it the way that I do.
You are unlike many people, Eloise. How is it you have the courage to be so different?
It is not courage.
I simply cannot understand why others do not see things the way I do.
Which I thought was a very interesting insight into her character and makes a lot of sense. Like, it's very apt for Eloise. I'm like, yeah, that checks out. That makes a lot of sense to me for her. Then we go back to Colin and the light burning out. You know, it's funny, they reversed that shot in the trailer. Everybody had done think pieces on what that meant, and then only for it to be like the exact opposite in the actual content. Although, to be fair, like, I'm probably gonna have a section in my Paul and relationship analysis where I'm like, oh, so the candle burning out symbolizes this, and like, I know better, but yeah, that's a good shot. Again, the camera work is good there, the shift in focus. Then they do a goofy little, like, cool-toned flashback moment to the fucking hand injury scene, which I thought was goofy and not well executed. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I thought it was so goofy. I really don't like this moment.
John!
Let me.
Not the flashback visuals. Interesting.
I kind of hate it more and more each time I see it. I'm like, guys, what were you trying to convey? Why that moment in particular? Why those shots in particular? Why this filter on it in particular? Like, I know you're trying to do like a flashback and, oh, he's having a realization, but like, what did those moments even convey to him? It was not clear exactly what they were going for or what they were trying to say was happening. Like, is this him having his first realization ever? Is this just a culmination of this? They could have used footage from both seasons beforehand. Are they trying to make us forget about those and only do this? There's so many other moments that were so much more influential and impactful, I think. Is it just because this happened at the same, location? Like, he's in the office where it happened, in the study where it happened, and he's looking at the, that's the candle that he ended up breaking that had his injury in the first place. Like, I get logistically, like, why they did that, but it didn't have the emotional impact for me. It didn't work for me at all. Like, I was just like, okay, guys. Because also, again, I don't think that scene itself, the hand cut scene, was as impactful as it could have been. They could have made it so much better. So then, like, them cutting to it, it was just like, it did absolutely nothing for me. I was like, okay. Because again, also, there's so many more moments in season 3, if they wanted to just go from season 3, that would have been so much more powerful in that moment to, like, show, oh, he's having this realization, and oh, he's left her all along, or like whatever they were trying to convey here. I just don't think it hit the mark at all. But it spurs him to action, so thank God. Thank God. Lady Danbury and her brother have a little spat outside. The animosity is going crazy. Going crazy. I'm like, he better have killed your cat or something, because what is going on here? She is angry. Okay. Which is all we need to know at this point in time.
So much so that I do not feel much like talking.
Oh, is that not in fact our preferred form of communication?
Did he change the music or something?
It is only that I wanted to get you this.
That is so fucking cute.
I am not a man of many words. The words I do have, I'm afraid they're not very good. But I do believe in the power of a gesture.
John, I'm obsessed with you. You're everything to me. You're perfection. You're everything I've ever wanted and more. I love her being a little sassy, trying to give him the cold shoulder. Then he's like, isn't silence our preferred form of communication? They're just everything to me. They're everything. They're perfect. This whole scene is perfect. It's touching. I think it brought a tear to my eye. It's just, they're perfection to me. I fucking love them. They're everything. They're everything. And then she drops everything. She says, I want to go home. I need to go play this right now. They're so cute. They're just everything. They're so weird. They're such weirdos. They're such introverted, shy, awkward weirdos. Neurodivergent babies. I love you. You're my angels. Ugh, God. Then we cut to the baby race real quick. This look kind of slays for Prudence. I cannot believe she's fully grabbing her cleavage in a ballroom full of people. And you know what? Dankworth can't either. He is shook. He is stressed the fuck out trying to stop her. And then, she's like, are you making fun of me? That's dropsy of the pancreas. Again, comedic, quick, simple, effective, didn't take up too much time. Hilarious. We love to see it.
And that is not dropsy of the pancreas. Mama said it is a clear pregnancy sign.
Is it?
This subplot is funny.
They're so funny because they're doing a little couple off. Like, they're both in each other's quarters. Like, Finch is like, like, they're just so funny. They are so funny, dude. All of them. Oh my God. I'm struggling with whether or not I, want them to be back in next season, because, they could be used, if they're used effectively, it could be so great, and I, might actually miss them a little bit if they're not there, but it also makes sense for them to not be there, for this to be, kind of, ending their journey. But it was hilarious. They're so good. And then the scene is punctuated by her grabbing her tits. Like, it's just comedic gold. Not snow on the beach. Get out of here. Get out of here. I was weary of this song choice at first, but then once I thought about what Taylor Swift had said about, like, this song being about basically something miraculous happening when when all the stars align for two people to be falling in love with each other at the exact same time, that it's magical and it's like so improbable and wild. It's like snow at the beach. Then I was like, oh, period. But again, I don't think they utilized it that well. The music was a hit or miss this season. They did not, it felt like they were doing like checklists. They were like, okay, we got this violin cover, like not really utilizing it as effectively as they could have. But it scores Colin coming in, you know, he busts through those men as he should. He's fed up. We love to see it. He's a man on a mission, and he's never been hotter. Like, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Let's get going. Let's get going. Come on. We don't have time to waste. Again, also the image of him in a carriage, like, in his garb right now, I was like, I was twitching. I was twitching. Debling can definitely tell that something is off and, you know, like asks her if she's looking for someone. Again, good preempting that when he says later in their confrontation, he does say that she's been looking for someone and he's been watching her. So you see, you know, evidence of that in the document right there. And then she asks about love.
Do you imagine that with time, love may one day grow?
You can tell that she's like, okay, I need to ask about this. And you know what? Good for him for being honest.
I do not know. To be honest, my work has such a large portion of my heart, it may be difficult to make more space.
It's not the answer that anybody wants to hear, right? Like, it's not good, but I still commend him for being pretty honest.
I am very glad that you are someone who seems to have such a full life.
But it's interesting because he does say, you know, but I'm glad that you have your own things that you care about that will keep you fulfilled and that type of thing, which I do think is a great way to kind of introduce the second part of the season where it's like, yeah, she does have this thing that she's very fulfilled about and that she does love doing and that is a big part of her, right? But it's not the only thing in her life that she wants or the only thing that she needs. She wants love as well. So again, I think it kind of sets up this issue of like a choice between career and love that is so prevalent in the second half of the season really, really well. This is kind of the introduction of that. And you see that, like, again, Debling's right. It is good that she has that thing that she loves so much and she would be able to do that. But she's also realizing in that moment, like, it's not going to be enough because she wants both. She wants to be able to have both. And, you know, she's realizing that that's not going to be the case if she is with Debling. But you can also see that she's convinced herself that it would be okay up until this point, and now she's just being met with the realization that it might not be, and she's panicking. And that is really good, kind of like timing-wise pacing for the show, as well as like performance-wise from Nicola. Like, you can just tell that she's like, oh, fuck. Shit, I thought this would be okay, but now I'm like, I don't think it will be. And you can see that she's really struggling with it at this moment.
That is interesting, isn't it? No, I meant your brother is walking right up to Penelope and Lord Debling.
Do you mind if I interrupt?
Colin,
It should only take a moment.
Colin is crazy for approaching her. He is just crazy. How many times do I have to say it? He's crazy for approaching her. He gives no fucks. He's not even looking at Debling. I can't. The one-sided beef between this man and Debling is so funny because, like, Debling hasn't done anything to you, my king. Like, he, like, won't even look at him. He's like, I gotta, and then he's, like, looking at Penn. He's like, it'll only take a second. Like, it's just so, it's so funny to me. It's so pleasing. The fact that Cressida notices it and points it out and then we get that shot, it's just so good. It's so good. I love to see it. It's so improper. It's so crazy. It's so unhinged of him, and this is the behavior that I like to see out of my leading men. Thank you. I like to see you be an absolute unhinged, deranged, psychotic, little pathetic idiot for your woman. You've never been more attractive. Thank you.
Lord Debling, you are much too handsome for social ruin.
Cressida is actually so smooth for this little maneuver that she gets in with Debling. I'm like, actually kind of respect the hustle, girl. Like, get your bag. She talks about, you know, Eros and Psyche battling it out and gives Debling the lowdown, which I thought was really good. I like Debling's realization of, you know, aren't they old friends? Yeah, they're old friends, all right. They're old friends, and then some. You know what I mean? Like, that's very much that energy. I thought that whole scene was good, like a good realization for him. And then we cut back and forth a little bit. We see Colin and Penn at odds. Penn is so annoyed at him, rightfully so. He's being a little idiot. Again, rightfully so. We love to see it. They're really going head to head. He's like, he's gonna be gone. She's like, I fucking know that, dumbass. I know that. What do you think? What do you think this is? Who do you think I am? You think I don't know that? Shut the fuck up. Yeah. So we just love to see when men are like panicking and they like they don't have a good reason. And I just love these types of moments, especially in this type of dynamic where one person has been pining for the other for so long and it's been so one-sided. It's so nice when the shoe is on the other foot and the dynamic shifts. And I like that she's angry. You know what I mean? Like, I like that they give her the space and the time to feel anger at being like, are you fucking kidding me? I've been my entire life pining after you, and now you're gonna come ruin this for me? This too? And at this point, she's like, so you don't want me, but also you're not gonna let me have anybody else. Great. Like, that is so, it's so hurtful. It's so loaded. There's so much history there. So I really like that they let them have this moment of like feuding and butting heads, because there's a lot under the surface here. And you can tell that Pen is feeling a lot as a result. She says she's gonna accept. He's shell-shocked. He says, I can't let you make that mistake. And she says, the only mistake was asking for help in the first place. Well, Queen, you didn't ask him for help. What is it? What collective gaslighting has been happening? Because you literally didn't ask him for help. He offered it. Like the messy queen that he is, but you didn't even ask for help, but here you are saying, oh, I shouldn't have asked for your help. She's so cute when she runs after Debling, and she's like out of breath. She's so small, she's so cute. She's, sorry, we got interrupted, but can we continue? And he's like, so you're in love with him, and she's like, what, she's like fucking Cassie in Euphoria.
No, I don't even know why she would say that.
Like, why would you say, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Miss Featherington, why is it you sit at your drawing room window so often? All week I've watched you search for someone.
Yep. And he just clocks her tea so expertly. I really admire him for this, because he doesn't even let her bullshit. He's like, I'm talking about this.
I do not know of what you speak.
Speaking of Mr. Bridgerton and the feelings between the two of you.
Queen, I'm talking about this. I'm not going to let you skirt around the issue. I'm talking about the feelings that you have for each other. And, you know, of course, delicious line.
Colin Bridgerton would never, ever have feelings for me. It is laughable to think as much.
Colin Bridgerton would never, ever have feelings for me. It's laughable to think as much. Absolutely, we love to see it. The irony, the tension. The tables have turned and she doesn't even know it. We love the distribution of information and the lack thereof at this point in time. The storytelling devices are just prime time. We're getting into it. But I also love that she's like, she tries to be like, well, that's not a possibility. And he's like, I didn't, Queen. He's like, no, hold on a second. I didn't ask if it was a possibility. I asked if you wanted it to be. And she simply cannot bring herself to lie.
Would you like it to be more?
I do not. That is not the. It is not a possibility.
I did not ask if it was a possibility. I asked if you would like it to be.
And I love her for that, and she's real for that. And yet again, that's another, despite how angry she is, despite how much she's been trying to move on from him, this is a great insight into her character. She can't lie. She does want it to be. And that, again, is a great thing to preempt the carriage scene, because it's like, this is what she wants. She does still want this. She's always wanted this. She's thought that it wasn't an option, so she was trying to move on, but it doesn't change the fact that she's always wanted it. So that leads us to where we are in the carriage scene. I also love that he's basically like, I mean, what he's basically saying to her when he's like, I need someone whose affections aren't already engaged, is like, I can't have someone who's going to cheat on me and provide me with bastard baby. I was gagged when he said that, and I was even more gagged when I fully comprehended what it was that he was saying, because I was like, so basically what he's saying is like, I can't leave you alone because I can't trust you because you and Colin are gonna fuck behind my back. And then my children are gonna be his. And they're gonna be little, you know, brunette Bridgertons, and I can't have that. So, bye, Queen. Hope you get what you're looking for. And I just thought that was hilarious and unhinged. And you know what? What's even crazier is he's right. He's so right. He's so right! And he's a king for that. You know what I mean? He saw through it. And I'm like, period. Love that. I love this whole confrontation, and then, of course, you know, Portia's like, what did you do? And she, you know, they had their little confrontation. I like that you see genuine remorse from Portia once Penelope really calls her out. Penelope runs down the grand staircase, very Cinderella-esque. She's screaming, crying, throwing up. She's hailing the carriage. Colin is going after her. It's what I love to see.
Penelope.
I do not wish to speak with you.
Please. Let me in. Did Lord Debling propose?
What business is that of yours?
I need to know, did he propose?
It is odd. When I asked for your help in finding a husband, I did not realize that also meant you might try to deny me one as well.
Guys, here's the thing. I actually don't know how much I can talk about the carriage scene, because I am going to do, and this is not an exaggeration, between my Pawn character analysis, and I am going to do 2 separate videos simply just breaking down the carriage scene. One, because there's 2 wolves inside of me, so one of them is going to be like a very much analytical, you know, like character psychology analysis, like breaking down the lines and the camera work and the acting choices and the techniques and the lighting and all this type of stuff. And then the other one is just going to be me being unhinged and crazy and being like, this is the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because, you know what? It deserves it. And I'm both. You know what I mean? Like, I hold this scene in such high esteem in both ways. Both extremely serious and extremely unserious. So I need to do both. And I will do a full breakdown. And I already have many, many, many pages of notes for each of those videos. So don't you worry, you will be getting a breakdown of the carriage scene. So I don't even know how much to get into now. But what can I say about the carriage scene? It's everything to me.
It is my business, because I care about you. You cannot marry that man. He will leave you, and he is too particular, and he is just not right for you, Ben.
He did not propose.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched it. I genuinely don't know. I've lost count. It's everything I've ever wanted and more.
He rejected me because of you. Because the scene you caused led him to believe you had feelings for me. An idea so preposterous, I do not know what to do besides laugh.
I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but I actually have, I think, come to the conclusion that I think it might be the hottest, sexiest scene in the world. That's hard. I don't know. It's one of them. I'm comfortable saying it's one of right now. Okay, it surpasses definitely anything that Simon and Daphne did. Okay, no offense to the Simon and Daphne lovers, but pour moi, for me personally, in another league. This scene is crazy. It's unhinged. It's crazy.
Now will you please let us ride home in silence and leave me alone?
I cannot.
Please.
I cannot. Because... what if I did have feelings for you?
What?
They're so correct that it's so quintessentially everything about Bridgerton that's good, because it's like, it's drama, it's tension, it's character building, it's really romantic, you know, vibe and scenery and situation and setup. It's intense, like there's a lot of dramatic and narrative, like, going on, you know what I mean? And then it's like very loving, and then it's very true to the characters, and then it's funny, and then it's hot and sexy, and then it's cute and sweet, and then it's touching, and then it's just like everything to me. Like, I don't know what to say. I genuinely don't know what to say. I love everything about that scene. Well, not everything. We'll get to it. But I can't tell you how much that scene is. I love that scene so much. They killed that shit. Every single department killed that shit. This is one of the best scenes in the history of the show. I will maintain this. I will go to bat for this. I will defend this. And I will give video essays defending this for the rest of my life if I need to. I don't know how much I can get into right now, but I just love everything about it. Like, I genuinely do. This man ran after her on foot and got down on his knees to profess his undying love. Come on.
I have spent so long trying to feel less, trying to be the kind of man society expects me to be. And for a moment, I thought I had succeeded. I have spent so long trying to feel less, trying to be the kind of man society expects me to be.
Come on. Give me a fucking break. And that's before anything even actually happens. Because there's really 2 carriage scenes in my mind. I'm like, there's the carriage scene with the dialogue, and then there's the carriage scene with body language. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, and they're both magnificent. What can I say? Brilliant. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping. Never been done before.
But these past few weeks have been full of confounding feelings. Feelings like a total inability to stop thinking about you. About that kiss.
I was not like this over the carriage scene in the book. Y'all, the carriage scene in the book, I could take or leave, okay? This transcends that. This is on another plane. This is on another level. The performances, the camera work, the lighting.
Feelings like dreaming of you when I'm asleep, and in fact, preferring sleep because that is where I might find you. A feeling that is like torture, but one which I cannot, will not, do not want to give up.
The song, I am a fucking give me everything Pitbull violin cover truther. Because this song is fucking good for the scene. This eats it down. I don't care what people are saying. I don't care. Is it a little louder than I would have liked? Yes. Would I have liked to hear some of the original audio, if you know what I mean? Yes. But, like, did I ever think that I would be going to bat for a fucking Pitbull song? No!
They're using a Pitbull song? Wait, give me everything. It's not the... Might not... No, it is! Get tomorrow tonight. Give me every... Is it that one? Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. That one? That's crazy. That's so fucking weird. I can't believe they're doing a Pitbull song also. That is crazy. That's crazy that people were right about that. Well, could Give Me Everything be the carriage? Could they do Give Me Everything with the carriage? Hold on, I'm gonna listen to the instrumental version of Give Me Everything, and I'm gonna try and conceptualize. This isn't orchestral, but I'm trying to just think of the notes. Like, can't you see this being the build-up here? Lead up to, like, when they're about to smash? And then them starting to hook up in the carriage? Can't you see it? Give me everything tonight. Can't you see it? Hold on. I found a string quartet. Okay. Oh, let's do it tonight. Like, I can see it. And then they start fucking, or doing whatever they're gonna do. I can see it. I see the vision.
When I heard that this is what was gonna be in the carriage scene, I was like, that's the most ridiculous decision I've ever heard in my life. I rolled my eyes. I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't be more happy to be proven wrong. This works so well. It works on every single level. Again, the performances from both of them are just, like, outstanding, out of this world, on another level.
Do not say things you do not mean.
But I do mean it. It is everything I have wanted to say to you for weeks.
It's so perfect for their characters. It's so perfect for their progression.
Colin, we are friends.
Yes, maybe. Forgive me. I do not know what I was thinking.
I'd very much like to be more than friends. So much more.
I have so much more to say about it. Like, I could go on, and I will, for hours. That's not an exaggeration. Like, y'all don't understand what the scene is to me. Y'all don't know, and I don't have the time or the energy to convey to you the full breadth of it at this moment in time. But I do think it's very hot and sexy. I do think it's touching. I do think it works for their relationship. I do think it's funny and sweet and cute. And I think it's everything about Bridgerton that I love. And I think they were correct. And I think they did that. And I think they know they did that. And yeah, it's in the Hall of Fame. Carriage scene, you will always be famous.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
They miss, okay? I don't even know how to... I'll include my live reaction here, and then maybe, like, I don't know, maybe a compilation of, like, my most favorite moments or something from it. When I tell you that I have many videos coming that are gonna discuss this in depth, like, I'm not leading you astray, okay? It's gonna be psychotic. Because this scene is elite on another level. I never thought it would gag me as much as it did. I did not anticipate being gagged as much as I was. Nicole Coughlin, the moaner that you are, I made a TikTok about this.
Is there a subcategory at the Emmys for Best Moan? If so, ooh, Nicola Coughlan, she's taking it. And if not, then we need to create one, and it shall henceforth forever be known as the Nicola Coughlan Emmy for Best Moans.
Luke Newton facial expressions, the facial expression. Okay, I will talk about that for very briefly. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen on my screen in my life. And you know what? My affinity for Luke Newton went up tenfold after that. I was like, Luke Newton, I always admired him, I always loved him, I was like, period, king. Never did I see him as such a king as in that very moment. Okay, guys, like, I don't know how to explain it. I truly don't know how to articulate it. I'm at a loss for words, but that changed me fundamentally as a human being.
Oh my.
Oh. I haven't been the same since, and I will never be the same. It just is what it is. Like, I don't know, that facial expression, his choice in that moment to make that facial expression, it altered my brain chemistry permanently. And not even just in a horny way, yes, in a horny way, but like in so many different, it was so right for the character, I can't even, and again, I touched on it a little bit in my Colin character analysis, but I could wax poetic, I could go on and on and on, and I will. Like, I will write sonnets in its honor and glory. I will write dissertations. I will write essays. Like, I could write a book about it. I'm not even kidding. It's really sick and twisted. They did that. They really did that. They're such pretty kissers. They have some of the best kisses on the show, sorry. And again, like, it's so, what's so crazy is they're still not even my favorite couple, but they fucking did that. Like, I can't even deny it. They did that. I really did not expect them to gag me as much as they did, but they did. And I would be lying if I said they didn't. That carriage scene gagged me. It did a lot to me. It did a lot to me.
Oh, Colin, we're at your house.
He said what?
Could the carriage driver not keep on driving?
That is so cute.
Like, I'm just a girl. I don't possess the powers to be immune to this. What do you mean?
You think anyone saw us? I was not paying much attention to anything.
And also, me and someone when? You know what I mean? When am I gonna get my carriage moment? I'm here in the garb. I'm waiting. But yeah. They're...
You're coming with me?
What?
You're coming with me? For God's sake, Penelope Featherington, are you going to marry me or not?
Okay, that's fine. It's fine.
That look truly was the most gaggy part of that entire fucking thing. Which is crazy, because it's like 0.2 seconds. It's so true. It's so real. It's almost uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't believe I literally said, oh my, aloud. Involuntarily. That just came out of me, because I was like, what? I was gagged. I still am. Every single time I see it, I cannot believe that. And I genuinely, like, I don't know how to express this without sounding crazy, but, like, I have a genuine, like, true, deep appreciation for Luke Newton making that choice. Because there's something, he could have made so many other choices, but God, he made Colin so much hotter by making the choices that he made, especially in those intimate scenes. But, like, those facial expressions, it's just so correct. It's so true. I'm like, oh my God, you're mine, Luke Newton. You're mine for doing that. And thank you for putting yourself out there like that. And thank you for thinking to do that. It's, again, like I said in his character analysis, like, it's so free of ego. You know what I mean? Like, it's so stripped of any vanity, which just makes it so much hotter. Like, it's just so crazy. I don't even know, anyway. I could go on for fucking ever. It's not funny. But yeah, I mean, I love everything about that scene. I could have done a little bit more with the dialogue, to be completely honest. But you know what? It is what it is. I think the scene is so good on so many levels, from so many different departments, in so many different ways, that it deserves its own videos. Plural. And I will be getting into it. Okay, like I can't get into it here because there's just not enough time, and it deserves the time and effort and energy to be dedicated to analyzing it and praising its genius. It's genius. It is brilliant. It's iconic. It's legendary. Hall of fucking Fame. Hall of Fame. You will always be famous. Kerosene, you will always be famous. Okay? You did that. Y'all did that. That is crazy. That is... Anyway. So, look forward to those videos, because I will be getting into it. Yeah, so keep an eye out for those videos analyzing the carriage scene. I'll be talking about it in my Colin relationship analysis. I'll be doing one breaking it down in a video essay style type thing like I did with my Colin character analysis and my Colin relationship analysis. That style will be breaking it down, and then I will also be doing one where we're just going to like rewatch it and I'm just going to be unhinged, discussing it. As unhinged as I can allow myself to be in public. But yeah, I genuinely, like, kudos, and I thank you. I'm genuinely, this sounds ridiculous, I'm genuinely so grateful to Luke Newton and Nicola Coughlan and everybody responsible for everything about that scene. Its existence, number one, but the quality and the execution, I am so grateful. It is most pleasing to me. It is most special. And I owe you my life. Like, I owe them my life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, guys, I'm eternally grateful. Anyway, so that's my episode 4 recap of season 3. I'll see you for many more videos soon to come.